It is the 11th year of We Back Pat, a week-long way to remember the legendary Tennessee coach. Today in snowy Fayetteville, #1 South Carolina, on the road to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Great to have you with us courtside here at Bud Walton Arena with Christy Thomascutti. I'm Eric Freed. Let's start with the #1 team in the country. You know they are so good offensively, so good defensively. They have an elite player in Aaliyah Boston who continues to expand her offensive game.
Well, this elite player is not going to be satisfied until they win a national championship. So she's taking it upon herself now. She is moving better without the ball in her hands, scoring more off of cuts, and most importantly, is getting more aggressive on the offensive glass to lead these Gamecocks in their paint points on the season.
She's been outstanding all season long, but when you look at the last 10 games, she's had a double-double in each of the last 10 games for South Carolina. Added up over those 10 games, averaging better than 19 points, 14 rebounds a game, and by the way, an elite defender, as I mentioned, with nearly 4 blocks a game. So Arkansas will have their hands full with Boston and the South Carolina team, but Mike Neighbors' squad is coming off arguably their best win of the season against Missouri, which was a week ago, Christy, so they've had a week to prepare for #1 South Carolina.
Well, for Arkansas, only 2 turnovers in that win over Mizzou, as well as shot lights out from 3. They need to do both of those things well here today to get the upset.
Well, tip of the hat to these Razorback fans who have made it through the lousy weather. The weather is improving. The sledding is better than the driving around here right now, we can say. So they have come here to get things going in the way they know how here in this building. 11 wins on the season for Arkansas, 16 for South Carolina, and Victoria Saxton and the Gamecocks waiting patiently. I feel bad for talking over it.
It's interesting to see the Gamecocks right now, the look on their faces as this went on.
It's all about the traditions. Great tradition for Arkansas. And what's fast becoming a tradition, South Carolina wins the opening tip, and they go right on the attack on offense. Here's Destiny Henderson with an open look for 3. No. Surprise, surprise. A putback for Aaliyah Boston.
Well, it's the game within the game there. Can Arkansas limit South Carolina to 1 shot on that possession? They have to get better at.
Rebounding is going to be so important because South Carolina is #1 in the country in rebounding margin. Arkansas is last in the SEC in that category.
And this is a possessions game. Arkansas takes great care of the basketball. We already mentioned only 2 turnovers against Mizzou. Been an Achilles heel of South Carolina this year. However, South Carolina creates those second chance opportunities with offensive rebound.
Take a look at the starting 5 for South Carolina. Destiny Henderson with the push. She comes into the game 5 points shy of 1,000 for her career. Zia Cook couldn't get that one to go, but there's another offensive rebound and another opportunity here for South Carolina.
2 possessions, 3 offensive rebounds for South Carolina so far.
Cook will try from outside, no, and Michaela Daniels comes away with the rebound, and Beal knocks it away. Jump ball will give possession to the Razorbacks. Michaela Daniels, the leading scorer for Arkansas at 14.5 points a game on the floor with Amber Ramirez, who has played very well against top 5 teams. Remember last year, Arkansas knocked off 2 top 5 teams in Connecticut and Baylor, and Ramirez had a combined 45 points in those 2 wins. Freshman Jersey Wolfenbarger knocks down the 3. How many threes does Arkansas need to make here tonight to have a shot against South Carolina?
I think they at least have to go for average, which is 9, and that's a great start for Arkansas because the bigs of Arkansas are the players that really need to be able to knock some of those down to try to pull out the post of South Carolina from the paint.
Here comes the double on Boston. Good job defensively by Arkansas. Shot clock now down to 7. Henderson, and kicked away with the shot clock at 2. So they'll set it to 20.
And Eric, you're already seeing the game plan of Arkansas. They want to double, crowd Boston, basically turn her into a passer here this afternoon.
Baseline out of bounds play. Another one that rims out for Zia Cook. Now, that's similar to what we saw in the first half last game for South Carolina against Texas A&M. They struggled. They were getting good looks. Dawn Staley told her team at halftime, look, we're getting good looks. just start hitting shots and be aggressive. And that was the message to the team today here in Fayetteville. Be aggressive, try to get it to the basket.
Well,
oh, there's Daniels with the steal.
Dawn Staley knows she's got a chance every night because their defense has been so good and they're so good on the glass.
Speaking of good, Amber Ramirez is better than good from outside the three-point line. 321 threes made in her 5-year collegiate career. You know what's coming, and most of the time she makes them.
Well, that's going to make Mike Neighbors very happy because he said, we need at least 35 possessions where we shoot under 10 seconds on the shot clock, which is what they just did.
Bree Beal knocks down a three. Did not score against Texas A&M last time out, but she has had success against Arkansas. It's got a career high of 22 against the Razorbacks. Go for it. Good fake. Good effort on the offensive glass. Second chance here, and Daniels had it knocked away. Another three on the way. Saxton with the rebound.
And Arkansas will get some offensive rebounds. But Mike Neighbors said if it's not a tip-in, we're going to kick it out. And that's the respect that he has for the shot-blocking ability of South Carolina.
Another miss from the outside from Cook. Now 0 for 4 from the field. Go for it, defended by Beal, an elite defender.
And you're going to see a lot of early action from Arkansas, just trying to make Aaliyah Boston have to play and work away from the basket to try to open up the paint for easy scores.
Ramirez was open forever in the corner. They still got it to her. And another three knocked down by Arkansas. If you were going to draw up the game plan, the blueprint, however you want to talk about it for Mike Neighbors, it would involve knocking down 3 of your first 4 threes.
And when I asked Dawn Staley what her greatest concern was, she says they shoot the ball so well from 3 and they get hot very quickly.
And Saxton with it was fouled by Goforth. So 3 3-pointers so far for Mike Neighbors' team. As Christy mentioned, they average 9 makes a game, which is number 1 in the SEC, and they were 11 of 27 against Mizzou. Again, good win for Arkansas. We all know Missouri is the only team to knock off South Carolina this year. That was last week, and Arkansas really needed it. They had lost 3 in a row before that game. Baseline out of bounds. It's Boston on the inside again.
And if you're going to upset the number 1 team in the country, you've got to be sound in special situations like out-of-bounds plays. That time, the freshman, Emery, is not ready. Easy 2 points for Boston.
That won't drop in from Goforth. Emery Ellis is into the game. And a traveling violation, turnover for South Carolina. That's their second. Ellis into the game, and Riley Langerman, sophomores, come onto the game as well, coming off a career-high 17 against Mizzou last time out. There's Dawn Staley, season number 14. I don't want to speak for Dawn, but I'm guessing she's really happy with this game time because that means she didn't have to watch what was happening to her beloved Philadelphia Eagles anymore. Goforth on the drive for 2.
And Eric, it is because of the 3-point shooting and the ability of Arkansas's post to face that the lane has been open for those kind of drives.
Anderson answers back with the 3.
I really believe the game within the game today is the Henderson on Daniels matchup. Both of these guys are the catalyst for both offenses.
And Henderson was just called with the foul to get us to our timeout. Amber Ramirez, 36% from outside the three-point line so far today. 2 for 2 from outside the line. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. 41st meeting all time between South Carolina and Arkansas. Carolina's won the last 4 in the series. Now the first media timeout. It's Arkansas with the possession after the foul to Henderson. Samara Spencer. Ramirez hounded by Beal, and Beal gets called for the foul. And where was Beal when she attempted it? They said on the line. So 2 free throws coming up where Ramirez was, rather. We'll head to the free throw line to shoot a couple. She's saying that I was behind the line and I should shoot 3.
Well, that's because Amber Ramirez doesn't take twos. And why bother when you can shoot the 30? But I give Amber Ramirez credit for drawing that foul, because there's nothing Bill could have done, because she jumped into her to force the officials to blow the whistle.
Ramirez, another solid game against Mizzou. 21 points, was 11 of 12 from the free throw line. So was Amber Ramirez right? Should this have been 3 free throws? Absolutely. That's what I first thought, but she didn't. She was behind the line, was she not?
I thought so, both feet.
When you've been around as long as the redshirt senior from San Antonio, who started her career at TCU, you know where your feet are.
We were joking around with Mike Neighbors today. She's starting to pull retirement here in the state of Arkansas.
She's been around a while. And Mike pointed out she wants to be a coach. She knows the game and so much about it. There is Destiny Henderson knocking down the 3. And with that 3-pointer, Destiny Henderson has joined the 1,000-point club at South Carolina.
Well, you want to know why South Carolina continues to win? Right now on the floor, they have 3 1,000-point scorers: Boston, Cook, and now Henderson.
And all reached that mark this season. Langerman on the drive, tried to make the extra pass, comes outside, not this time from 3, and there's Henderson with the rebound. This is what Henderson does so well, with the push, the pace, and Boston can't get the 3. Well, I assure you that the keys to the game were drawn up hours in advance and not after the first few minutes of the game. But why don't you take us through it, Christy?
Well, South Carolina is averaging on this season 37 paint points. They have just dominated. And that's not just post. Those are the guards off dribble penetration. So Arkansas's got to be able to limit that somehow. But I go back to the possessions game. Can South Carolina create extra points by getting on the glass? And can Arkansas just take care of the ball and create those 3-point scoring opportunities?
Destiny Littleton is in the game. Ramirez back onto the floor for Arkansas. Letitia Mee here on the floor for South Carolina. She's returned to the lineup after missing the last 4 games and a traveling violation. That is turnover number 1 for Arkansas. They are halfway to their total turnovers last game against Missouri. 2 turnovers in a game last time out.
Mike Neighbors and I were talking about it yesterday. I've never seen that in all my – definitely not when I played, because I was usually giving the 2 turnovers. But even as a coach, remarkable what this team did. And it's not like Mizzou's not a good defensive team. That's what's even more remarkable.
Before the shot, I think it's going to be a foul on Wolfenbarger. That's number 2 on her. She was fighting inside against Aaliyah Boston, so she'll go to the bench with 2. And Emery Ellis will come back into the game. Henderson over the top to Boston. Just wouldn't drop.
Exact same play that Boston was able to finish on earlier.
Now Littleton guarding Ramirez. South Carolina down a player today. Bree Hall, freshman, who's been coming off the bench for South Carolina. Not with the club. Turnover Arkansas. Here's Henderson with Daniels back defensively. And she gets called for the foul.
I have a hard time with that call just because I felt like it was more Henderson jumping in the air and falling to the ground more so than Daniels making any contact. Daniels knows she needs to stay on the floor, so she made some contact, but verticality there is the only thing I could question.
So Henderson to the free throw line, already with 6 points today, a rebound and an assist. 11th annual We Backpack Week continues tomorrow. Number 10 UConn will be in Eugene to take on the Oregon Ducks. Our coverage begins at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on ESPN2 and the app. How about the Ducks? They've been battling injuries all season long. Coming off an OT win over Arizona. Big fourth quarter comeback in that game for Kelly Graves' team. So it will be Oregon and UConn coming up tomorrow. Foul on Daniels was her first. Saxton comes out to get the block shot. 22nd block of the season for the senior co-captain.
Well, and South Carolina's got the mismatch down low. They just got Saxton the ball.
Back outside, Henderson to Ami here, and Letitia Ami here will earn a trip to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
So, Eric, we talk about the post play, but this was when I think South Carolina is so dangerous. When their guards get downhill, because it forces rotations, leaving post players open, and just as importantly, leaving those post players open not only to score, but to get to the offensive glass.
So Henderson will check out, and Sanaya Rivers, freshman, will come into the game. And here is Ami here at the free throw line. Last game was against Missouri in the SEC opener on December 30th for the junior from Canada, who was in the starting lineup for 3 games when Destiny Henderson was out with an injury.
Miss Versatility.
Yes.
Is Ami here. But I really think she's an X factor here today because she can play positions 1 through 5. She matches up with the bigs of Arkansas so well.
1:40 to go, first quarter. Go for it. Can't get it on the run, and Littleton's got the rebound. Here's Zia Cook. Ami here. But right now, no Boston, no Henderson on the floor for South Carolina. And Zia Cook says no problem.
Well, without those key players on the floor, there's a different set of calls that Dawn Staley will make. And even that time, the veteran Saxton was directing the freshman Rivers on the play and trying to get her to cut to get the offense going.
Go for it. Used a couple of fakes. Saxton got the block, kept in by Spencer for the Daniels 3. Cook. Final minute, first quarter. South Carolina on an 8-0 run here. And the crowd here, Bud Walton trying to help out Arkansas defensively in the final minute of the first. Shot clock down to 4, knocked away by Spencer. Looks up at the clock, slams on the brakes, and Arkansas will hold for 1.
Smart move by the freshman. Pull it out, let her teammates get set, try to end this quarter with a bucket.
Keep an eye on Ramirez, guarded by Littleton, just outside the paint. They try to spring her free. Ramirez with the flip. No, and that will do it for the first quarter. So pretty even for the first few minutes of that first quarter, but then South Carolina went to work.
Well, your veteran point guard spotting up, getting hot from 3 to help South Carolina with the lead.
Eleventh year of Wheatback Pat, of course, Dawn Staley uniquely positioned because as an elite player playing for Virginia, Pat Summitt was coaching Tennessee while Dawn was playing for Virginia. But then, I mean, you were a coach. One of the reasons you got so involved in coaching and basketball was what you thought about Pat Summitt.
Well, I've got news for anyone. Anyone involved with collegiate athletics from a women's perspective owes so much to Pat Summitt. I mean, I see little boys as well as little girls in the stands, and I know that's Pat's influence on our game.
Well, that was much needed for Arkansas to start the quarter, Christy. A three-pointer from Michaela Daniels, her first points. Arkansas had missed their last 6 field goal attempts of that first quarter. Littleton, she is a streaky shooter. She can get hot. Only played 2 minutes against Texas A&M. Didn't score. Remember, she hit key threes in that victory over UConn early in the season. So Littleton comes through. There's Ellis. No. Good fight by the freshman, and a foul is going to be called on Ami here for South Carolina.
Well, honestly, with Ramirez coming to spot up off that scrum, if she'd have gotten the ball, I'm sure it was going to be a three-pointer going up. So Ami here probably saved the 3.
Both teams filling it up from outside the three-point line. Arkansas and South Carolina are each 4 for 8 from outside the three-point line. Good explosive move. Arkansas, they've had some opportunities around the basket, but they've missed their fair share of layups.
They have missed, they're 1 for 6 on layups, and I really give that credit to South Carolina's shot blocking ability. It forces you to alter things. It just gets in your head because you know they're coming.
Aaliyah Boston now with 6 points to go along with 5 rebounds and an assist.
Eric, there are a lot of great players that we're watching this season, but where I have to tip my hat to Aaliyah Boston is she's just letting the game come to her. She's not forcing shots. Right now in SEC play, averaging 7 of 12 per game. She is getting those double-digit points so efficiently and effectively.
Michaela Daniels attacking the basket, and she will get to the free throw line for Arkansas. So Wolfenbarger will come back into the game now for Arkansas. Picked up 2 fouls in the first 7 minutes of the game. Ellis will go to the bench. So this will be a challenge here for Wolfenbarger, even though she's got great size. Arkansas has had to mix and match some pieces because of injury. Erin Barnum is still not back. She is a starting post for Arkansas, although it sounds pretty optimistic that she could be back to practice this coming week for Arkansas. But Wolfenbarger is going to have her hands full here with the 2 fouls and trying to work with Boston on the floor.
Eric, it's a challenge to come into the collegiate ranks and be a post player because of the physicality. And then you just got to say that's exponentially more difficult when you're facing Aaliyah Boston.
Well, how about the Twin Towers look now as Boston on the drive drops it in as Camila Cardozo is into the game now for South Carolina. On the perimeter, guarding Wolfenbarger. Go for it. Spencer got rid of it, knocked it down, and has a chance for a 4-point play.
Well, when you need a bucket, try to create off the bounce. Go for it. Pulls weak side. Spencer spots up, knocks it down with the contact.
So count to 3 for the freshman from Fort Lauderdale, who's picked up 1 Freshman of the Week award in the SEC this season, averaging almost 10 points a game. And comes through with a 4-point play. So winning plays like that will keep Arkansas very much in this game. Now down by 4.
So you're seeing Arkansas is willing to play Cardozo one-on-one in the paint, but Boston catches down there, they're going to go at her.
Henderson on the attack. She's got 9. Wolfenbarger inside Ramirez. Ten to shoot. Spencer, Wolfenbarger. Cardozo held her ground to make sure it would be South Carolina basketball. South Carolina coming off the win against Texas A&M last time out. Final ended up being 65-45. It was a 2-point game at halftime. South Carolina shooting 43% from the field in the second half of that game to pull away. There's Wolfenbarger with the block. Good defensive play by the freshman.
Good execution by South Carolina. Cardozo just has to be more stronger and take that up to finish.
Go for it on the drive. This time it drops in for Sasha Goforth.
And I really believe because Wolfenbarger took that 3 a moment ago, that made Cardozo commit to her a little bit more, which opened up the lane for Goforth to get to the rim.
Boston with a quick move on the inside. It won't drop, and now Arkansas off the miss, wants to push. Wolfenbarger, not a lot of arc on that shot, and it comes up short.
But you wonder how much Wolfenbarger's having to exert defensively to defend the bigs of South Carolina. Maybe it's affecting her shot right now.
Against Cardozo, I'd say exerting a lot. And against Boston, yes. Arkansas will slow things down. Wolfenbarger tries again from outside. Arkansas now 5 for 12 outside the three-point line. Littleton. Henderson, and a 3-second violation. Called on Cardozo. Turnover for South Carolina. That's their fourth.
Eric, I just mentioned how much Wolfenbarger's having to exert. There's 4 players on the court right now for Arkansas that are breathing really hard. This is how hard Arkansas is playing right now on both ends of the floor to try to stay in this game.
So Arkansas trying to use their bench a little bit here. Riley Langerman comes back into the game for the Razorbacks. Yeah, pace-wise, especially here in the half court, Arkansas in no hurry.
Well, this is where I feel like it's a concern of Arkansas, because Mike Neighbors wanted to score within the first 10 seconds. And since that first possession of the game, they really haven't had the opportunity. Big foul.
That's 3 on the freshman, setting the illegal screen, and she will now stay on the bench for the rest of the half as Emery Ellis will come into the game. South Carolina, 4-point lead for the #1 team in the country. Also in the top 25 today, Louisville with another win. That's 15 wins in a row for Jeff Walls' team. He picked up career victory number 400 today in a victory over the Eagles.
And the bad news for the ACC is I don't see that win column stopping anytime soon. I mean, Langerman right now is guarding Aaliyah Boston down low.
One thing we know about watching Riley Langerman, and there's a 3-second violation. Number 11 will go toe-to-toe. She'll try to answer any assignment you give to her. Scoring seems to be a bonus. Went off for 17 last game, and Mike Neighbors was quick to point out, look, she scored 17, but she didn't stop doing the little things, which has earned her major minutes in the lineup for Arkansas this season. And that may include bodying up Aaliyah Boston, the top player in the country.
Well, Mike Neighbors calls her his amplifier. She's going to give him everything she has. And I really believe Sasha Goforth just needed a blow. And so this is why Arkansas has been forced to go so small.
And right now, Boston is chasing Langerman around the court at the moment. Here's Ramirez. Wild shot with the shot clock winding down. She'll take it.
You say wild, and Ramirez says, nope, big game action for me.
She's in the double figures with 10. Littleton, open look. No, Ellis got inside for the rebound. Daniels, open look. Rebound for Cook. Henderson took it at Spencer. They play on, and guess who's got the rebound? It's Langerman. Looks like she may have taken a shot across the bridge of the nose. Goforth will come into the game. Langerman gave a quick look to the bench. Looked like she was indicating maybe she needed to come out, kind of trying to blink her eyes out a little bit. Ellis. 6 rebounds now for Boston. Cardozo up high, tries to drop it down low, and a foul is called on Langerman.
Well, Aaliyah Boston knows if she can get 2 feet in the paint, she is money, and Langerman's just trying to hold her ground, gets caught for the hook.
That's a second personal foul on Langerman. She will go down and talk with the athletic trainer. I think she did get the shot in the nose. Henderson, Saxton got free for 2.
And this is what's so hard to defend South Carolina on out-of-bounds plays. You got to pick a poison because they use the screen so well. When they come off tight, it leaves players like Victoria Saxton open to come to that weak side.
Ramirez dribbled off the foot. They say it was deflected by Littleton, who's done a fine job defensively coming in here for South Carolina on Ramirez. Eaton into the game. Alana Eaton with the shot clock winding down off the side of the backboard. It'll be South Carolina basketball. 4th turnover for Arkansas.
Eric, a couple things have surprised me. that as many threes as Arkansas has taken, South Carolina hasn't been able to exploit the misses and get out in transition and try to score quickly. And at the same time, just the pace overall by South Carolina, I feel like they want to, according to Dawn Staley, could be playing even faster than they are right now.
Inside, Boston can't get it to drop, but she was fouled and will go to the free throw line. Dawn Staley said before the game, we want to be aggressive. We want our guards to attack the basket. She took the responsibility on that. She thought that she and her coaching staff weren't getting the word across well enough to her guards. Attack the basket, get to the line if it's what it takes. But have they been in attack mode here today?
I don't think consistently. And this is the thing for South Carolina. We knew coming into the year, Dawn wanted better decision-making from her guards. She wanted more efficiency from them, meaning make the layups in transition. They've been better, but I wonder if maybe they might be second-guessing themselves at times. You know, Zia Cook has had some lapses this season where she struggled from the outside. But the bottom line, Dawn has just said, I'm only worried about good shots, and she's been taking good shots, and that goes for this team. I think as Henderson goes, this team goes, and that's saying a lot considering Aaliyah Boston is on this team.
Ramirez got free to knock down 2. 12 points now for Ramirez to lead all scores. Littleton. There's Boston, just bigger than everyone else, gets the putback and the foul.
Basket is good. Now Arkansas number 3.
So I mentioned when you get caught in rotation that it's tough to box South Carolina out. That time, Emery Ellis had her. Boston just keeps moving her feet, gets around her, goes up to the highest point to get the and one.
Foul on Eaton, her first, and it's a three-point play for Aaliyah Boston. 13 first-half points, closing in on a minute to go before halftime. Ramirez tries another 2, came up short. Now Henderson with the push up to Cook. Cook attacks, but Arkansas got back well defensively, and a tie-up possession arrow will keep it with South Carolina.
1-on-4 that time for Zia Cook. Probably not the best decision to attack. Go for it there, protecting the paint.
Henderson has it rejected by Ellis. Second on the team in blocks this season. Missed 4 games this season with an injury, but now has 16 blocks this year.
Watch for the handoff to Henderson, and if not, Boston taking it herself.
Well, Boston's missed a couple on the inside, and she'll head back to the free throw line.
Foul in Arkansas number 55, Emery Ellis, her second personal foul.
And that's a play that Arkansas went over and over and over on the out of bounds to try to keep Henderson from getting the ball and prevent Boston from doing what she just did, which is driving and drawing the foul.
Destiny Oberg will come into the game for the first time as Emery Ellis will head to the bench with her second personal foul. Boston now 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Men's hoop this week. Big 12 ACC Super Tuesday doubleheader. Number 9 Kansas will take on Oklahoma at 7 Eastern. Then Palo Banchero. Number 8 Duke will face Florida State. Both games are on ESPN and the app. One app, one tab. 15 points for Aaliyah Boston. Go for it to Oberg. Eaton, good shooter. Not this time. And a timeout is called by Dawn Staley with 34 seconds to go before halftime. Her team is on top by 9. Well, as we've seen quite often, Dawn Staley taking a timeout, set up something out of this timeout with 33.5 to go before halftime.
Well, you got to believe Boston's going to get a touch here. And that is one thing Dawn said, that since the Mizzou loss, that's one point of emphasis for her team, is to make sure that Boston's getting those touches, especially in the game.
Henderson to Boston for 3, and Saxton's going to get called for the foul. with the bump on go for it.
Offensive foul, South Carolina, number 5, Victoria.
Spencer will come into the game for Arkansas as Eaton will check out. And Ellis will check back in with the 2 fouls for this possession.
Well, Ellis is coming in for the offense.
Destiny Littleton staying on the court for South Carolina. Again, she's done a good job trying to stay with Amber Ramirez, make her work, playing majority of the minutes here in this first half in place of Bree Beal. Down to 3 for Daniels. Daniels at Sexton. It's rejected, and that will do it for the first half. 4 blocks in the first half for South Carolina. So good defensively, and when you talk about offense, Aaliyah Boston at the center of things. 15 points, 9 rebounds. She was 5 of 10 from the field and 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Number 1 team up by 9 at halftime. Time for the E-Trade halftime report. Here's Kevin. Welcome back. We're at Bud Walton Arena as we honor Pat Summitt and her continued impact on women's basketball on and off the courts here in Fayetteville. Snowy Saturday. Snow hanging around today. Christy was sledding earlier. Southern girls, pretty impressive too. We're ready for the third quarter. That's usually when South Carolina hits the gas, but Aaliyah Boston had her foot on the pedal right from the very start in this game.
This is why she's a Player of the Year candidate, because she can beat you in a variety of ways. Out of bounds plays, just a top pass, seals off, great touch, even through contact. And then you can box her out, but if you don't stay with it, she has such great footwork to go up and get the offensive rebounds. And my favorite play of the first half, just Aaliyah Boston putting it on the ground and taking it up strong off the bounce.
Well, another impressive scoring line for Aaliyah Boston, 15 points in the first half to go along with 9 rebounds. So just 1 board away from her 11th straight double-double. Arkansas, first possession of the quarter. Goforth tries to take it at Boston. Good, strong move by the sophomore for 2.
I love the set for Arkansas out of the break, bringing Goforth from the weak side, allowing her to attack the bigs of South Carolina off the bounce.
Zia Cook had 2 in the first half. Can't get that one. It's batted over to Ramirez. South Carolina was a plus 12 in rebounding margin in that first half. Here's Daniels on the attack to the basket. Got to have that. Just 1 drop from Michaela, and here comes Cook on the push. Henderson shut off by Daniels on the baseline. Arkansas gets a stop on the other end. It'll be Razorbacks basketball.
I'm a little surprised with South Carolina. I would have thought they would come out and just go right at Wolfenbarger, trying to pick up that 4th foul on her.
3 first half fouls for the freshman. Langerman with 2, Ellis with 2 for Arkansas. Goforth. Nifty little dribble to get free for 2.
I love that Sasha Goforth didn't over-penetrate there.
Goforth down and a little slow to get up. Well, excellent start here to the quarter for Arkansas, but then Goforth gets called for the travel.
Sasha Goforth, the hometown product, just taking it off the bounce earlier, but that time, unfortunately, just shuffles those feet for the turnover.
Henderson with 9 points in the first half to go along with a couple of assists. Beal didn't play a lot in the first half. Destiny Littleton got extended run in the first 20 minutes. Here's Boston. Cook on the pull-up. That won't drop. And a foul is called on Goforth. That's her first.
There's a lot of Razorback fans in the house right now that do not agree with this call. The only thing I can think is the official saw the arm hooked in there, but didn't look like much to me.
Looked like Ramirez had a full palm on that ball. They play on. That's Saxton with the putback.
Victoria Saxton's so difficult to box out because she's such an explosive leaper. Not only can get up, but is so quick off the bounce. Sasha Goforth had the box out that time. Victoria Saxton just went up and got it.
Goforth can't hit the three, and now Henderson back the other way. And stepping out of bounds was Cook. 8 turnover for South Carolina.
Eric, for two teams who want to play with pace, who want to get up and down, so far in this game, 3 fast break points for South Carolina, 1 for Arkansas. Correction, I should reverse that. 3 for Arkansas, 1 for South Carolina.
Daniels knocked away by Henderson. Jump ball possession arrow will give it to South Carolina. South Carolina on a 4-game winning streak, 4-1 in the SEC, 16-1 overall. Boston missed on the inside, and then she gets called for the foul.
Personal foul.
That's her first.
Her first personal foul.
Good execution by South Carolina. They got Boston on the block. She just couldn't finish. And then just gets called for the foul, going for that rebound.
Boston came into the game leading the SEC at 57% from the field. She's dropped below 50% in this game here this afternoon. Riley Langerman into the game for Arkansas for Spencer. There's that Daniels-Henderson matchup that Christy mentioned earlier. And Henderson wins that one-on-one battle with the block shot, 10 to shoot for Arkansas.
We talked so much about Henderson on offense with her pace. This time, just tremendous timing to get the block.
5 blocks now for South Carolina. Langerman launches a 3. Beal with the rebound. South Carolina leading the nation in block shots per game at 8.4.
And Eric, there are blocks, and then there are the other shots that their shot blocking ability affects.
The altering the shots, and we've seen plenty today. Henderson for 3. 12 points now for Henderson, who joined the 1,000-point club in the first half. Arkansas took a 13-10 lead in the first half with 4.5 to go in that first quarter, but they closed out 0 for 6 from the floor in the first quarter. They made a pushback in the second quarter, but went 1 for 7 from the floor to close out quarter 2. South Carolina now has their largest lead of the game on top by 10.
And I love that take by Zia Cook. Defense was backpedaling, and she just went across the grain to get to the rim and draw the foul.
Well, the shooting struggles seem to have corrected themselves for Zia before Thursday's game. She was 15 of 30 from the field in the previous 2 games, but then was 0 for 9 in the first half against the Aggies. Ended up 3 for 16 from the field, and it's been a struggle today from the field as well, 1 for 7. So if you're struggling with your shot, take it to the basket.
You should have
Get
coached.
to the free throw line.
You should have coached.
Well, I just want, for the record, I do pay attention to my expert analysts. I listen. You may not think I do, but I always do.
You're the only man in my life who does, Eric.
Go for it. There's another block. Saxton with that block. The blocks continue to pile up. Here's Cook, lost her footing, and she's limping now, not putting any pressure on her left leg. Still back behind half court. Ellis will get an open look at a 3. No, and Boston pulls down the rebound, and all eyes now on Zia Cook. Now putting weight on the foot, but still limping to the bench. So timeout called here by Dawn Staley.
Yeah, the foot just kind of slipped underneath her. I'm not sure if it's the foot or the ankle. Just hope she's okay.
Well, South Carolina has brought the chairs onto the floor as though a timeout was called. I think the officials were just calling
They're saying no timeout.
Yeah,
yes.
no timeout here, so we're going to stay. So no timeout call by South Carolina. The officials recognizing an injured player, stopping play. Uzziah Cook, the junior, who is making her 82nd consecutive start here today. 3-year fixture for South Carolina. Hasn't taken the shoe off yet, continues to reach down that left ankle, left foot. So we'll keep an eye on Zia Cook. Destiny Littleton into the game for South Carolina. Littleton swings it to Henderson. Open look, Littleton for three.
Credit Henderson. She was able to pull the defender off her dribble penetration, kicked it out to the open Littleton for three.
10-0 run now for South Carolina. Go forth. I think she was a little surprised how open she was on that shot and missed the mark. Boston.
You've got a very experienced South Carolina club on the team right now, just a very inexperienced Arkansas ball club.
Henderson for three, timeout Arkansas. Well, we've seen it time and again for number one South Carolina. They make some adjustments at halftime and then they come out of the locker room and they start draining shots. The lead is 18 for the Gamecocks. That's the NetLife podcast, courtesy of Just Women's Sports. You can find NetLife wherever you get your audio. New pods drop on Wednesdays.
I'm tuning in.
The guest list or the wish list is, Dawn, she's been aiming high since her playing days, so she's aiming high on the guest list. That's Daniels who pulls it down.
You think Barack Obama's already got his invitation?
Just so you know, there is an open invitation there. Ramirez has to heave it up. That looked good. And it caught the back iron and it goes out of play. South Carolina, after Ramirez got going in the first half, they have done their best to take her out of her rhythm in this game. Timeout on the floor, 18-point game.
What do you think they have to eat at Snake and Jake's?
Well, it's in New Orleans, and you spent 4 years of your life.
5, actually.
Well, you're on the 5-year plan at
I worked. No, I was
okay.
a 4-year, thank you.
Okay. So you're the one who spent all the time in New Orleans. You're my expert on New Orleans nightlife and eating. Letitia Ami here gets her first points of the second half. She's got 4. Arkansas 0 for their last 9 from the field. Ellis, open 3, ends the drought. First points for Ellis.
Now, can Arkansas string together a couple of stops to try to get back in this ball game?
Well, here's number 1. Ramirez comes in with the strip. Langerman brings it across half court. Ellis, go forth, open look. Daniels trying to knock it away from Beal. And now Ami here with Daniels chasing from behind. And a traveling violation called. Turnover, South Carolina. Again, South Carolina playing without Zia Cook right now. We've got an eye on her. She was just walking back behind the South Carolina bench. Now she's making her way closer to the coaching staff. Sitting next to Gillette Law and Leah Boston. Hasn't taken the shoes off, so maybe would still be available, but scoreboard would probably dictate if we see her again today. Haven't gotten an official report. Here's Wolfenbarger. Another open look.
Arkansas is getting the looks this quarter. They just can't convert them. But once again, Langerman, just all effort all the time for Arkansas.
Riley Langerman, the sophomore from Norman, Oklahoma, who last season played in 13 games, scored a total of 16 points. Here comes Lily Grissett into the game for the first time. So Langerman played 92 total minutes last season. Christy, this season coming into this game, 277 minutes. So I think that is the very definition of someone who has gotten an opportunity, made the most of it. There were injuries, as we talked about, for Arkansas. They have had a roster in flux. Only 2 have started each game. Only 5 have appeared in each game. So Langerman had the opening and has piled up the minutes and the contributions, not just with scoring, but with doing the little things defensively, rebounding, taking charges, diving on the floor for loose balls.
You can just tell she has great basketball IQ, very unselfish player. You're talking about an Arkansas team, Eric, that lost 50 points a game to graduation and to transfers. This is still a really young team. They're evolving. Ramirez obviously has the most experience, but can't say enough about a player like Langerman that now is her time to shine, and she's making the most of it.
Henderson back out and away from me here. Now the turnover 12 for South Carolina. Arkansas has turned it over 5 times. South Carolina has outscored Arkansas in this quarter 15-8. And they get a stop. Saxton to Henderson to Beal. Beal spinning and traveling. Well, South Carolina was really clicking and rolling. They were on a run to stretch it out to a very comfortable 20-point lead at 51-31, but a couple of turnovers. Can Arkansas cash in on this end? There's Saxton with the block. Grissett fights off Langerman, who gets called for the foul.
That is the second block for Victoria Saxton where the player's just kind of dragging with her dribble and shoots, and she closes that space so quickly to not only contest the shot, but obviously get the block.
That's the 4th foul on Langerman.
Here's Victoria Saxton. Just so many little things for South Carolina to get the block.
Saxton now with 5 blocks, 5 of the 7 blocks today for South Carolina. Fed it into Beal, who couldn't hold on to it. Another turnover for South Carolina. Kayla Daniels back into the game for the Razorbacks. On the run, that drops in for Spencer.
Arkansas's defense is doing enough. They just have not been able to convert consistently off those stops. Great bucket by Spencer.
Spencer with 6. Ramirez has not scored in the second half. Henderson. Battle for it, won by Arkansas. Time here to cut into the deficit a little bit more. Daniels with a pull-up, wide open look. Well, Arkansas had their fair share of open looks in that third quarter. They did turn a 20-point deficit into a 14-point deficit against Dawn Staley's team as we head to the 4th quarter in Fayetteville. SEC scoreboard, Florida has come back to take a 4-point lead on Alabama. Ole Miss continues to roll. They were knocked off by Tennessee last week to end their 13-game winning streak, but they've won 2 in a row now. They beat Mississippi State by 15. What a performance by Tennessee in their wee back pat game in Knoxville. They rout Kentucky 84-58. Ray Burrell seems to be finding her stride. 14 points for Tennessee. She was 4 for 4 from outside the three-point line, so Tennessee continues to roll. As we have a stoppage here, the shot clock never started, so they have to knock 3 seconds off of that one. In case you were wondering, because I was, South Carolina and Tennessee play one time this season, and it's on February the 20th. So you got to wait a while before that showdown.
I can't wait. I mean, it does seem like they're on a collision course. Obviously, LSU right there in second place, tied with second place as well at 5-1. But the Tennessee and South Carolina on that collision course, as you say, and talk about rebounds galore. Who's going to win the battle of the boards that night?
Daniels to the basket and the foul and a chance for a three-point play. LSU with the victory, 82-64. Alexis Morris had 20 in the win.
Out of the timeout. Daniels, the veteran leader of this team, just putting her head down, getting to the rim and getting to the free throw line.
First points of the second half for Daniels, now with 7. And the deficit is down to 11.
This is a really big lineup for South Carolina. Boston, Bill, and me here, as well as Lily Grissett.
Henderson. Boston shut off on the baseline. She traveled. Turnover number 15 for South Carolina. That is their season average.
Well, I love the clear by Boston. That, yeah, just shuffled that back pivot foot. Good call by the official. And Eric, South Carolina's turning them over, but they're having dead ball turnovers, which is preventing Arkansas from trying to get out and score in transition, which is something they needed to be able to do today.
Daniels got by Beal, made the pass inside to Ramirez. An 11-0 run for Arkansas, and Bud Walton starts to get a little bit louder now that it's down to a 9-point game. So it was last touch by Arkansas. It'll be South Carolina ball.
Well, Ellis has struggled defending Aaliyah Boston on out-of-bounds plays today.
This time Boston with a handoff to Henderson.
Oh, they missed her.
Yep, she was open in the paint. Another turnover for South Carolina. Another opportunity here for Arkansas. Daniels takes it at Grissett, who gets called for the foul. Oh, good aggressive play by Arkansas, attacking the basket with Daniels. We saw her dish it off to Ramirez for Amber Ramirez's first points in the second half. And now Daniels, an outstanding free throw shooter, heading back to the free throw line.
Well, so many tough shots by Arkansas for the better part of this game because they haven't been able to get by South Carolina off the bounce. Here in the start of this fourth quarter, we're seeing it time and time again, and good things have happened for them.
Foul on Grissett, her first. Be here heads to the bench. We back, Pat, in Eugene, Oregon. Coming up tomorrow, it's UConn and the Fighting Ducks. UConn and Oregon both coming off victories. 5th meeting all time between these two teams. You'll see it 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific tomorrow. 7-point game. Ellis picks up her 3rd personal foul. South Carolina led 51-31 with 3:17 to go in the third. That's deflected. Another turnover, and Ramirez has it. If she hits a transition 3, oh, she's going to step back though for Ellis. I say Bud Walton would really get loud if Ramirez had one of her trademark step back 3s. Wolfenbarger will try for 3. No. Daniels, Grissett saved it to Beal. Good hustle play by Lily Grissett.
That little bit of defense by Spencer saved a transition bucket by South Carolina because they had numbers.
7.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Henderson. Last touch by Boston. Arkansas basketball. Well, when we talked to Dawn Staley before this game, we talked about, well, do you have to tweak a few things? And she looked at me. I'm not going to throw you under the bus here. Wide-eyed. No, we have holes, big holes. And you're like, well, is that coach speak? But Obviously, there are things with South Carolina that are not perfect yet, even though they have been close to perfect at long stretches this season, helping them to the #1 ranking in the country.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're the #1 team in the country or if you're trying to get that first win. Coaches see the vulnerabilities. They know what can beat them, and that's what Dawn Staley right now. She goes, our defense has been solid. Our offense at times has failed us.
Boston gets called for the foul. Littleton will come into the game for Grissett. Again, South Carolina without Zaya Cook, who left in the second half with an apparent ankle injury. She's been sitting on the bench since that time. And Daniels back to the free throw line. I mentioned excellent free throw shooter, the team leader in free throws made and free throws attempted. And she's in the double figures now with 10. The run continues for the Razorbacks. And Arkansas will take a timeout. That'll give the crowd a chance to get loud here at Bud Walton Arena. From a 20-point game to a 5-point game. Back to Fayetteville in a moment.
Well, when you're down 20, how do you crawl back in a game? You get aggressive off the bounce. It has been Spencer with a great ability to create, but it is the playmaker Daniels who's gotten by her defender, who has pulled weak side to set her teammates up. Arkansas, once down 20, now has cut it to 5.
It was 51-31 with 3:17 to go after an Amihir layup for South Carolina. You can see the run over 6:22 to make it a 5-point game.
And I gotta believe Aaliyah Boston's gonna get a touch here.
Littleton looking for
double back, trying to bring her to the post.
High post, tries to work on Ellis. Shut off by Ellis and Ramirez. Shot clock down to 8. They try it again with Boston. The help comes from Ramirez, who knocked it away. Another stop for Arkansas. And Daniels gets called for the illegal screen.
Well, you're not going to stop the All-American one-on-one. There, the weak side rotation by Ramirez forces the turnover. Unfortunately, Arkansas couldn't convert.
2 fouls now on Daniels. Saxton, Henderson. Henderson, the fadeaway. Yes, Destiny Henderson knocks it down. 17 now for Henderson, which matches their season high. Came against Stanford in that come from behind win for South Carolina.
Well, there's just no rattling Destiny Henderson. Just so cool, calm, and collected, as you want your point guard to be.
Wolfenbarger gets Boston outside. Now tries to work on an outstanding defender in Beal and couldn't get it. Henderson. Wolfenbarger, the freshman, tangled up and doing all she can against Boston, the All-American in the inside.
The one thing Wolfenbarger doesn't want to do is lean on Boston. She's going to lose that battle every time.
Littleton with the feed, and a traveling violation is called.
Mike Neighbors wants the official to go and replay and look at the review because he thinks that Aaliyah Boston led with the elbow.
I think they will. They're telling the teams to head to their benches. The officials are talking right now.
And I think you can tell by Dawn Staley's expression how she feels about that. And from that angle, I think it's just a basketball move.
Officials are still talking. They have not gone to the monitor. I agree.
I mean, this is a former guard, but at some point we have to let post players play.
challenge for an appeal on the last play to see if there was an elbow being thrown by Boston.
So Boston had 15 and 9 at halftime. She has not scored in the second half, as South Carolina extended the lead to 20 without her scoring during that stretch. And now they're trying to get it to her now, and Arkansas has been ready as a team defensively to disrupt her and knock it away from her.
But there hasn't been space for Leah Boston to go to work down low. And the other flip side of that is 19 turnovers and 12, now 13 this half. And the majority of those have come trying to get her the ball, just not seeing that help side defense or the rotations.
So let's look one more time. Traveling was the call on the floor. There was no foul called, and you can see that elbow came up a little bit, but there was no contact there. And as Christy mentioned earlier,
the challenge has been lost. It is a basketball play. Timeout will be given to Mike over here in Arkansas.
So a timeout charge to Arkansas after the video review supported what you said, a basketball play, basketball move. Neighbors wants an explanation. I mean, from his angle, it seemed like you could see the elbow coming up, but from this side angle, that last one we showed, the elbow wasn't making contact. It was more that first move.
Yeah, it was
going in.
the continuity of the move. I mean, I thought she led with the shoulder. You know, that was the initial contact, not the elbow by any means.
Dawn Staley now has stepped down the court. She wants an explanation as to what was called. The teams were huddled up, and you heard Eric Bruton's announcement to us on the microphone that Arkansas is now down to one timeout. Razorbacks with the basketball. Back it up a little bit. It was a travel, so a turnover. 19th turnover for South Carolina, 14th in the second half. Tough take to the basket. On the bid by Spencer. Henderson will circle back out.
Great transition defense by Arkansas.
Inside of 5 minutes to play in the fourth. Arkansas has battled back. Boston still looking for her first points of the second half. And a foul is called on Arkansas.
They got Wolfenbarger.
So Wolfenbarger gets whistled for the foul. That's her fourth. Littleton sets for three. Long rebound out to Michaela Daniels with Henderson back. Daniels fouled by Henderson. Count the basket and a chance for a three-point play.
Mike Neighbors said he wanted to pick up the pace, score in transition. This time, Michaela Daniels draws the contact and gets the and one.
Chance to bring it to four. Daniels 6 of 7 from the free throw line today. Boston blocked by Ellis. Foul called on Ellis. That's her fourth.
This is the junior, Aaliyah Boston. Not the freshman or sophomore. Now so explosive off the bounce. Can create. Draws the foul to get herself to the free throw line.
So Ellis with 4, Wolfenbarger with 4, Langerman on the bench right now with 4 for Arkansas. Boston gets her first point of the second half.
And Eric, I think everybody in this arena knew who was going to get the touch on that last play, and yet it did not matter. Leah Boston was still able to create off the bounce and get the foul.
17 points, 12 rebounds for Boston, and then South Carolina gets a quick hoop after.
Well, Lily Grissett throughout her career has usually been the front of the press. Arkansas forced to call timeout.
60-second timeout.
Timeout called by Arkansas as South Carolina dialed up the pressure, got points off a turnover, and just like that, it's an 8-point lead for number 1 South Carolina.
Well, it's not like South Carolina hasn't had tight games this season or even had to come from behind. After the free throw, puts on the full court pressure, and Beal's able to score. This last time, as we just showed you, was a timeout being forced to call by Arkansas, and that was their last timeout of the game, Eric. And so South Carolina may not have been able to get a turnover on that possession, but I think being forced to call a timeout is as much of a win for South Carolina as anything in this moment.
So with inside of 4 to go during this timeout, I can tell you about the Super Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. Wraps up Monday night with the first ever Monday night playoff game on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+. And this one could be a shootout. Kyler Murray leads the Cardinals against Matthew Stafford in the Rams. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Mega cast coverage also includes Peyton and Eli on ESPN2 and ESPN+. Between the Lines on ESPN+ and our ESPN Deportes Spanish language edition as well. Well, the Mahomes fans turning out here today at Bud Walton Arena. So South Carolina with the pressure in the backcourt. 3:54 to go in the fourth quarter. It was 53-49. South Carolina after the Daniels 4-point play, but South Carolina gets the free throws from Boston. They get the points off the turnover. The hoop by Bree Beal.
I just can't say enough about the switch by Dawn Staley to go to the press after the free throw.
Wolfenbarger, 6 to shoot. Go forth, defended by Boston, who gets on the floor, and a turnover. Henderson takes it at Spencer. Batted out of bounds by Boston. It'll be Arkansas basketball.
And so the press now by South Carolina is doing a couple of things. It's slowing Arkansas down. They can't just get it and go, and it's taking them out of the half-court offense. A 1-2-2 trap. Arkansas's got to get it across.
Daniels does in time to Spencer. Approaching 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Henderson now chasing Ramirez. Ramirez has just been unable to get free. They've been all over. Daniels blocked by Saxton. Another block for Victoria Saxton, who has piled up the blocks tonight. 6 blocks for Saxton. Saxton has had success against Arkansas in her career right from her freshman year at 19 points, 9 rebounds, was 7 of 7 from the field in her first meeting against Arkansas. She's come up with another strong performance against the Razorbacks here today. 2.5 to go in the fourth. Boston inside for 2.
That was sheer determination. She took a hit, didn't matter, worked through it, got to the weak side for that bucket.
Daniels for 3, in and out, and Littleton's got the rebound.
I imagine South Carolina's going to start milking the clock here now.
6 straight points run off by South Carolina after Arkansas got it to 4. Henderson can't get the floater, but Boston's got the rebound, and South Carolina will work some clock.
Ever since South Carolina went to the press, got that steal, it's been momentum has totally flip to the Gamecocks.
Henderson, tough shot with the shot clock winding down, missed the iron. Shot clock violation. That's 20 turnovers now for South Carolina.
Dawn Staley's doing some offense, defense substitution. Lily Grissett just ran on the floor before her head coach got her to run up to the table.
Again, South Carolina keeping the pressure going here, slowing down Arkansas, trying to put this game away. Go forth to Daniels. Daniels, wide open look for three. That one in and out. Go forth, hustled to try to save it, and threw it out of bounds. It will be South Carolina ball with 1:13 to go. Littleton back in for Grissett. Destiny Henderson will walk it up for South Carolina. Henderson's matched her season high with 17 today. Boston had 15 in the first half. It's been slow going offensively in the second half, but at the end of the day, you look at their stat line, 19 points, 13 rebounds. Henderson to the left hand with a beautiful finish.
That's going to give Destiny Henderson.
$19 for Henderson. Stoppage here, and I think South Carolina is going to use a timeout.
Dawn Staley wanted to get Lily Grissett on the floor to continue to press, and the official, I think it was an inadvertent whistle, said no, you can't come in, and so Dawn Staley called the timeout to get her veteran player on the court.
So 51 seconds to go for South Carolina. They get a break now after this game. They don't play again until next Monday when they host Vanderbilt, and then they host Connecticut on January 27th. Arkansas will be at Alabama Thursday, and then they'll be back here at home next Sunday to host Mississippi State. Final minute here at Bud Walton Arena. Good fight by Arkansas. They had a 15-0 run in the second half to get back into this game. They were down by 20. They actually got it to a 4-point game. Wolfenbarger can't get it. Good fight still by the Razorbacks. Go for it. Goes down for it. She picks up the foul. And Arkansas is over the limit, so South Carolina will go to the free throw line.
I saw great growth by the post players of Arkansas here this afternoon. Wolfenbarger straddled those foul trouble in the first half. Really did some good things here in the second half. I thought Emory Ellis had a much better second half as well.
There's a lot of times where you won't feel so good about yourself coming out of a game playing Aaliyah Boston at South Carolina if you're a post player, but you're looking at things to build on here for Arkansas after what they were able to do.
Well, look on the floor right now. You have one senior. You have two freshmen, a sophomore and a junior. And the sophomore didn't play here a year ago. So much potential in the future of this program.
Sanaya Fegan checks into the game and wastes no time getting her name called as she gets the block shot. Destiny Henderson done for the day. 19 points for Henderson.
And Eric, you've talked about the offense of Henderson today. I thought her defense was outstanding as well.
Daniels knocks down a three. 17 points for Michaela Daniels. Shot clock is off and no need for Arkansas to foul. Well, South Carolina needed the offense to hang in there. They got the defense turned up when Arkansas brought it within 4. Crowd here at Bud Walton Arena will applaud the effort. Arkansas didn't lie down, but in the end, number 1 South Carolina wins yet again. 61-52 the final as the Gamecocks make it 5 wins in a row.
I think we just saw another example of how South Carolina can just finds ways to win. Back against the wall, hats off to Dawn Staley for throwing the press on there, because that totally shut the door on Arkansas.
We're not done here at Bud Walton Arena yet. We'll be back. We'll talk with Aaliyah Boston after South Carolina's victory here today. South Carolina had to work for it in the end. That hard work paid off. 61-52 the final as they knock off Arkansas, and we're pleased to be joined by Aaliyah Boston here courtside. When you finish a game like this, it was a 20-point game at one point. It looked like it was over in some eyes, but you guys had to keep working. You had to keep fighting and keep playing hard.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas is a great team, and they shoot the ball really well. So even if you think you're out of a game with them, you never are, because of how well they shoot the ball. So we had to keep working, but we came out with the dub, so I'm proud of us.
My favorite 2 moves of the game, first half, was just the drive to the basket. And then the second half, things were teetering offensively for you guys, yet you were able to create off the bounce again. Talk about just how much confidence you have now, because you can score in so many different ways.
I give the credit to my teammates, because I was getting a little frustrated with myself because everything was rimming out. But they just told me to keep going, and so that's what I did and was able to score. So thanks to them.
You get frustrated with yourself. We don't see that too often, though. What are we looking at when you're frustrated? What is that? Why are you frustrated? Why does that happen?
Just that I think the shots were just bouncing off, just rolling off the rim, and so I'm frustrated because I'm not. It's just so close, but my teammates kept me going. So
you have off days? I didn't think you had off days. No way. No way you have off days. Your head coach talked about some of the things. There are big holes to fix. We don't see that, but what do you see on the inside, or some of the things that you want for your team to happen here over these next few weeks?
I definitely think we just need to continue moving the ball and just taking care of it. And I mean, we're just making our way, and we're just going to continue to do that.
Aaliyah, I thought the turning point in that fourth quarter, Dawn Staley calls the press on. Lily Grissett comes in. You guys get the turnover. Just talk about, again, the confidence in the defense that you've found a way to win in so many different ways, but today was the defense down the stretch.
Yeah, we just kept the intensity up. Coach definitely, we work on defense. That's what we do, put pressure on people. And when Lily came in and her and Bree were up at the top, we were able to get a quick steal, get us another point on the on the scoreboard. That's what we needed, and they were able to do that.
I know you don't love the individual stuff, but that's 11 straight double-doubles. I mean, that's incredibly consistent. Is that the thing that you're proud of, that like each day you answer the bell, you answer the call, you're ready to go? That consistency, is that maybe the most important thing for you that you want to bring to this team?
Definitely consistency is definitely one of them. I'm not really focused on the double-doubles, though. I just want to make sure I get the win.
Okay. That's 11 straight double-doubles.
That's his assist.
So much. But, yeah, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to just continue to help our team.
We've seen what you've done physically today from the leadership perspective. That's what I was most impressed in practice this morning. Talk about, from your leadership perspective, what you have to do to help this team down the stretch.
Just continue to talk. I think communication is definitely a big part in any game that we play, so just being able to do that, and especially when they started coming back, just making sure that we talk about what we need to do on defense or what plays we're running on offense, just making sure the communication is just clear so that everyone's on the same page.
Your communication was great on the court. We appreciate this extra communication with us here after the game. We know you worked hard, but Aaliyah, thanks so much, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
It's Aaliyah Boston who does it again. That's 11 straight double-doubles, but you won't hear that from her. You hear that from us here today.
Thank you.
It's a victory for South Carolina. #1 team in the country wins at 61-52 the final. For Christy Tomascotti, Aaliyah Boston, because she was here for a long time, and our entire crew, I'm Eric Freed. So long from Fayetteville.